All right, it is 5 o'clock. Thanks everybody for being here. Tonight, our work session, we'll work through our agenda for our council meeting next week. We do have one person that signed up for public comment, so we'll start with that. I've got Paul Collins that had signed up for public comment. And we'll do 3 minutes at the podium, and if you don't mind, just state your name and address, please.
Okay. My name's Paul Collins. My address is 2816 Hempstead Avenue Southwest, just down off of Sandlin Avenue. We have a problem at the harbor, which I know it's a lease agreement with the city, but we've had an ongoing thing. I think she has given you a letter from the clerk for each one of you that kind of details some of the information, along with some parts of the lease agreement that kind of pertain to what we're doing or would like to do. The current part of the thing is we are losing all of the sailboats, because the information we have is that the dock will be covered rather than have any open slips where we can park any sailboats, which means we have to drive an hour and 15 minutes to Wheeler, or 45 minutes to an hour to Lucy's Branch if we want to have a boat in the water. And we just feel like that's a thing that the city council should address with the marina operator to see if we can't have some coming to meeting about the number of open slips we could have on the end of C-Dock after he gets the other part covered. We're just requesting like 12 slips is all it would be, 6 on each side.
Okay, we can, you mentioned the lease, we can take a look at that with our legal team.
Yeah. We highlighted part of it where if he's going to change what C-Dock was, he has to have that approved by the city council, anything that any plans he comes up with. So we would like to have an opportunity to address that when it comes up, to see if we can't have some kind of agreement on having some open slips at the end of C-Dock.
Paul, you and I talked a couple of weeks ago when I mentioned the potentially using J Landings.
Sir, I'll tell you right now, you can't get a sailboat in there. We already had this conversation with Jay. The big problem is his channel off the river does not maintain a specific depth. I draw 6 feet. When I bought my boat, I tried to take it in there to have it lifted out for a hull inspection prior to having it insured, and I went aground 7 times because the channel's not marked. And the depth on it is like 4 foot. And the same thing with a lot of these other guys, that they have boats that are all 4 and 5 and 6 foot drafts to get in there. We've got 11, 12 feet at the harbor.
I just wanted you to share that.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Any questions from the council? We'll, again, work with our legal department and talk with Mr. Connor about what's going on. But I do think there's a pending insurance claim that I've vaguely heard about, but we'll try to.
One of the things we heard through the grapevine, my other problem is none of us have received a 30-day written vacate notice. Not one of us. And this is going on since March 1st after the tornado came through. And the other part of that is that we've got a lot of maintenance. We had a lot of maintenance problems on C-Dock, and that's why the dock got condemned. It wasn't because they wouldn't cover it. It was the lack of maintenance over the years. It just wasn't worth giving any money for it. So.
Yeah, I do know that dock was totaled out by the insurance company.
Yeah. Because of lack of maintenance. Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We'll get to work on that with our legal department.
Thank you.
And Mr. Connor. All right, that's everyone I had signed in for public comment, so we will start to move through our agenda. First is approval of minutes. Any questions on those? All right, set public hearings. Ordinance 234565, approve rezoning for tract of land containing 1.41 acres, more or less, from an M1 light industry district to a B5 central business district located at 211 First Avenue Southeast. Set public hearing for September 5th, 2023. Tommy?
How y'all doing today? I'm Tommy Williams with the City of Decatur Planning Department. And this is a rezoning of 1.4 acres of land from M1 light industry to B5 central business district. The rezoning the land use and the zoning will match, and the PC approved this on July 18th, 6-0.
All right, any questions? All right, public hearings. Resolution 23014, approve abatement of unsafe conditions at 16 Cherry Street Northeast. Public hearing was set July 17th, 2023.
Mayor, Chris Wilbanks, Community Developments. This is just an ongoing endeavor with this building. I think we've all seen the condition of it. We have been in contact with the owner. He understands the need for it to be removed. It is a investment in the property, not the building. They're not trying to buy the building or anything. That's just, he understands it needs to be removed.
All right, any questions?
No,
All right.
I think that was set to close maybe sometime this week, and I think the new owner was already pricing demolition, so.
I spoke with, last week with Yogi, and I thought today maybe.
Yeah,
but
I believe
haven't
that, I haven't
received
heard of
it.
it has, but, that was the plan, and I think that new owner was already pricing demolition, so hopefully we can get that worked out.
Any other questions? Thanks, Chris. Resolution 23169, approve abatement of unsafe conditions at 305 7th Avenue Northwest. Public hearing was set July 3rd, 2023.
This was a burnout. We've had no contact with the owners. I think the tax city and Sullivan tax sale, they've done nothing to correct anything.
All right, any questions? All right, ordinance 23455A, approve pre-zoning request 141723 for 19.59 acres, more or less, located at 2709 Beltline Road Southwest to M1A Expressway Commercial District. Public hearing was set June 5th, 2023, and was tabled at the July 3rd meeting.
This is pretty much the same thing, the pre-zoning of 19.59 acres, zoned to M1 Expressway Commercial. And as of right now, we are still on for the agenda.
And that was for a multifamily development.
Correct, they're gonna do a use on appeal to do multifamily in a M1A zone.
Okay. All right, any questions? And I had asked, I think at that meeting, for you to send me some previous developments, and you did. And you can share that, of course, with the rest of the council, but it seemed like a group that's had some experience with
Yes.
a lot of,
They've done this in Texas before, about 200 units,
yeah.
very nice development.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
Have they already been through Boza?
No, they didn't go.
They did go through Boza
Oh, they
last week.
did. Oh, last week, but they didn't go to the meeting we thought they were going to.
Right, okay, so Boza already granted the use permitted on appeal, okay.
Yes, conditional.
Conditionally based on.
This work.
Correct.
Correct.
And currently this is zoned ag.
Yes, correct.
But it has to be, it actually is conditional upon subdivision. by
It's not been
annexation
annexed, so it's not-
and-
That's on this
It's
agenda,
not
though.
good at
Okay, so
all.
it's not even, okay,
No, this
okay,
is
okay.
actually-
Yeah, it's not even annexed, correct.
Okay,
This is a
I got it.
pre-zoning and it's not
Isn't that on
annexed.
this
You're correct.
agenda,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? Resolution 23194, approve request for Class 2 lounge license, off-premise beer, wine, and liquor for Courier LLC, doing business as Primo Liquor Store at 903 6th Avenue Northeast.
Yeah, this is a new one, and they have met all criteria on this one.
All right, what, Class 2 lounge, what is it?
It's just a liquor store,
Okay. It's easy enough.
yeah.
Any other questions? All right, resolution 23195, approve request for off-premise beer and wine license for SRB Store Incorporated, doing business as Your Store at 1517 West Moulton Street, Northwest, Decatur, Alabama 35601.
And this is a change in ownership, and they have met all criteria.
All right, any questions? All right, weed abatements. David, anything in particular on these? Only comment I would make is on the last one. That house seems to be abandoned, and I don't know if I've had a lot of complaints from the neighbors. Alan, I think you and I talked about it one day, but just wanted to keep an eye on. I think random people are the way through the woods house. Yep. Just wanted y'all to know there's some neighbors that have some concerns on that one. Any other questions?
If that's the one that I'm thinking about, we make contact with them.
I think the owner is a bank, last I heard.
Okay.
We can check on it though.
Excuse me one second, Lori, it's 1517 West Moulton, where is that?
I'm sorry, which one, the 1517 West Lone Street?
Yeah,
That's a convenience store.
I'm trying to figure out, place the address, where is that though, do you know what it's near?
Is it Speeds?
Yeah. It's right there.
That should be, that should be an even number, that should be like the 1200 block too, shouldn't it?
It shows right there next to NAFCO.
Oh, next to NAPCO, okay,
Yeah.
it's farther down, okay.
Yeah, right there.
It's
past
where the
store.
Payless it was then,
Okay, yes.
that's where it is, it's where the Payless was, I was just trying to envision that address, thank you, I'm sorry.
All right. Yeah, David, I just wanted you to know. So, any other questions on the weed abatements? All right, resolutions. Resolution 23203, approve the major modification to ADEM for an increase in the average daily waste volume for the Decatur Morgan County landfill.
Good evening, Wanda Tyler, Landfill and Recycling. We just completed a public notice for, because we had to go out for public notice before I came before you and also the county. But we're requesting as a major modification that we increase our tonnage, the average maximum daily tonnage that we can accept at the landfill from 1,500 tons per day to 3,000.
All right, any questions?
Here, here.
All right, resolution 23204, approve purchase of trailer lights for beautification litter trailers. Daniel.
Good evening, Daniel Vowell, Environmental Services. Yes, this is just to outfit the new trailers we got in and the vans for beautification. It's like $8,450, but it'll be paid out of that budget. It's just moving the line items into capital.
Yeah, there's no new money.
No new money.
Yeah, okay. Any questions? All right, resolution 23205, approve Volker Inc. as construction engineering and inspection consultant for the 6th Avenue Improvement Project.
Yeah, Alan Stover, Community Development Manager. This is the TAP grant portion of the 6th Avenue project. ALDOT requires us that we request their approval to select a CNI consultant. We've submitted that paperwork. They've submitted back to us a list of qualified CNI consultants that we can select from, and Volker is on that list. So we're just requesting that this resolution will allow the mayor to enter negotiations with Volker to get a, to get a set price. At this point, it's just selecting them, and we'll submit that back to, because we've got to send it back to ALDOT saying that we're going to use them as our consultant.
And that's just for the sidewalks, correct?
That is for the sidewalk portion.
Okay. All right, any questions? All right, resolution 23206, authorize the mayor to sign the ALDOT City Agreement Form MB06A, Cooperative Maintenance, SR3. You got it.
The Mayor Council, Carl Pruitt. We've done this before. It's a maintenance agreement between us and the state for work being done within the state right of way. Seven Brew being built there on 6th Avenue is going to put in some sidewalk, and this is that maintenance agreement.
Okay, any questions? All right, resolution 23207, approve aid to construction for downtown streetlight painting and fixture replacement on Moulton Street.
Yeah, there's going to be, I guess, paint some the lights downtown, the poles. I think they're going to add a few extras so this resolution will change just a little bit from this week to next week. They're going to add a couple of extra poles, and this is the aid to the construction to make that happen.
All right, any questions?
Is it common for us to split the cost on painting the Gator Utilities poles?
We have in the past. We've done this two or three times, I think, in the last couple of years.
I know we've done some in the parking lot, but we own the poles.
I think we did some on Bank,
Second, we did some on Second Avenue.
Second, and I want to think Bank and Second. It's been a couple of times we've done some painting of the poles, and it's been a shared cost.
The extra lights that the poles, are they where, right across the street where the central office was?
Yes.
For Decatur? Good.
Put you there?
Yeah, good.
All right, any other questions? Resolution 23208 declares surplus equipment no longer needed by landfill department and street department.
Jeremy Sherrill, purchasing. These are just a couple items. Number one, there's a quad track tractor no longer needed by the landfill. And then secondly, there's a couple utility trailers that has been recommended to be scrapped out by the street department.
All right, any questions? All right, resolution 23209, award bid number 23002R for improvements at the police training facility to U.S. Constructors LLC.
This is a project that will wall up essentially an open air pavilion that is out there. This was first originally bid in November of last year and came in over budget, I think, over or almost $500,000. And so we went back to the drawing board, rebid this with some new contractors, got some different participants, and had our opening on July the 14th. And the bid came in within budget, and we recommend for approval.
All right, any questions? All right, resolution 23210, approve the purchase of clear span structure for the covered pickleball facility. And then resolution 23211, approve the purchase of clear span structure for the covered tennis facility.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Jason Lake, Parks and Recreation. We ask that you approve these resolutions. One is for a clear span structure, which will house our new pickleball facility. It sits where the current expo is, where the old ice rink is. The other structure, the other clear span structure will be where TC Allman is. It'll house forecourt tennis. And they're both the same buildings. They both have roll-up sides, heat. For when it gets cold, you can roll the sides down, you have heat. There's vent fans, there's big fans. There's not air conditioning, but there is fans. So
What's the lead time on?
16 weeks to get the material, then it's 4 to 6 weeks to get it up.
What are we thinking on demoing TC Allman and the old ice rink?
The earliest we can do demos in October, just based on things that we have going on at those facilities now. So we have not taken any new bookings for TC Allman or for the expo. So we actually did the pre-bid with Jeremy last week Friday.
For the demo?
For the demo, and had a really good turnout. Actually, too, we had 5 or 6 that showed up for the pre-bid. So we talked to them about the pre-bid and gave them time frame, and when that comes in, we'll bring it in as a resolution.
All right.
You said
Sorry, go ahead.
16 weeks for delivery. How long to erect?
4 to 6. 4 to 6. The way that works is what they do is the asphalt that they do for the pickleball or tennis, what they do is they go ahead and put that asphalt pad down prior to them putting the clear span structure up, because the anchors for the clear span structure go into the asphalt. So, but they don't put the top on it. So what you'll see is you'll see the asphalt structure go in, then you'll see the clear span go in, then they'll come and put all the stuff in the top of it, and then they'll put the playing surface on it.
What time frame on the bubble coming down?
Well, we will have that information shortly. We were
Is
still.
it able to be used right now? Okay.
No, we were looking for options to try to get us something while we were waiting on this. But the bubble, the pieces that hold those lights up in the top of that bubble, they're all made of the same material that the bubble's made out of. And it's just not strong enough to do it anymore. And we've looked at options of how we could retrofit something there. But to do it safely, there's really just not a lot of options. So but luckily, those will be 2 new hard courts that we'll have that can be played for tournaments and things. When they were in the bubble, they couldn't be used for tournaments. So now those will be able to be used. And the ones that are in the clear span structure, we talked to them, and those will be able to be used for tournaments. So we're actually adding 6 more courts that can be used for tournaments.
Plus, it's a net gain of 2 for indoor courts.
Right. Right.
All right.
Thank y'all so much for doing all this.
Any questions, other questions? Thank you, sir. Resolution 23-212, approved purchase of vehicle for Parks and Recreation Department.
This asset is a 2015 F-250 with a service body connected to it already available from Decatur Utilities. And they set the reserve at $18,000, which is what they would take that number to Gov Deals as a reserve. So once they determine value, they will make that available to several departments within the city. And so we're trying to get our hands on it.
All right, any questions? All right, resolution 23-213, authorize mayor to execute frameworks design services contract for proposed DYS facility.
Hi, this is Ruth Priest with Legal. The contract is a standard contract with the architect. John Godwin is going to provide the design standard, and the payment is on a sliding scale. I believe you all have a copy of that contract, but it's a standard architectural contract.
All right, any questions? All right, resolution 23-214, accept $2,500 Air Products donation for the police department.
Jeremy Hayes, Decatur Police. This is a annual grant given to us by Air Products. It's to support our ACES program, which is Alternate Choices Program against drugs and violence.
Any questions? Thanks, Jeremy. Resolution 23-215, approve request for revocation of business license for Genesis LLC doing business as Las Villas Mexican Grill, 6th Avenue, 2224 6th Avenue Southeast, Decatur, Alabama 35601.
Okay, let me start by saying this is always a last option. We never want to shut a business down in Decatur unless we are given no other choice. When I started here in 21, this has been an ongoing problem since 21. I did research it back. It's been going on since October of 2019. I've spoken with Mr. Salcedo on numerous occasions. I even set up a payment plan for him, which he did not follow through on. We have written him numerous citations to court. He did have his brother come in and pay $4,000 towards what he owes. He still owes at this point for April, May, and June, roughly $7,176.86. But we've just reached the end of any way to come to some kind of conclusion to get these taxes paid.
So what's the process as soon as we revoke the business license, shut them down?
The doors would be shut until they could pay the taxes in full.
And just for clarity, this is not getting into his profits. This is taxes that he collected from customers.
Yes, yes, and which him and I had the discussion about that. I said, this is solely the tax money that you are, supposed to remit to us. This is not your profit. This is something that they pay to you over and above that you are not remitting. And he said, well, I've had some leaks and stuff. And anyway, it's just, we've gone back and forth. And like I said, I've tried to work with him on a payment plan. At one point, he was supposed to come in weekly and pay. He did it for 2 weeks, and then I didn't see him again.
Can you also clarify that this is just the 6th Avenue location?
Just the 6th Avenue location. It is not the Owen on the Beltline.
So would it be immediate? I was reading through that. It sounded like it would come back to council, and I also thought in there it said doing any business indicators, that,
I can address that if you want me to.
yeah, just to clarify, I don't have it pulled up, so I may not be remembering exactly correct, but I thought it stated that there'd be a hearing back before the council.
Yes, there will be. This is
September.
from, if you look in the ordinance, it's section 1439, and that language is tracked specifically in this resolution. Basically, what we're talking about today is, this is a conditional revocation license suspension, and that would occur on August 7th at the meeting if y'all decide to do that. Then they can continue to operate until the hearing, and the hearing would be at the first meeting in September. At that hearing, then City Council would have the ability to make that revocation final, or you could allow them to continue to operate. You would have the decision to make at that point. But that's kind of how it would work. You can, decide whether or not to revoke their license at that point. So this is a conditional revocation, so they can still operate the business
Through September,
through
September
until the
7th.
meeting in September when y'all make that determination. So,
Lori, could you clarify also that you're having problems with him attending court hearings and whatnot?
Yeah, the last time he was to appear in court last week, he called and told them that he was stuck in Mexico and couldn't find his visa and could not make his court appearance.
All right, any other questions, discussion?
just let me add one more thing, sorry. At that hearing, he can bring counsel with him, and notice will be given to him through the clerk that he will have to attend that hearing, and he has the option to bring counsel with him at that time. So he will be made aware of all of this. He will be given notice. So it's basically a show cause hearing for what's going on. It's kind of the city version of that, if you're familiar with that process.
So in the event that we finalize the revocation of his business license, would we send the police over there and just bolt up the doors, or what's the?
Well, I think he would have the opportunity to comply once y'all had revoked the license. Then he would have, the opportunity to comply and shut the doors himself. I don't think there would be a need to send someone over there unless he didn't comply with it.
But is Genesis LLC the holding company in both locations?
I think he sold the other one to his brother.
Okay.
Oh, it's a different owner.
Yeah.
Okay, that clarifies the
Yeah.
other.
Yeah, I was going back to.
I mean, it's
question.
family, but it's a different owner,
Yeah.
technically.
No issues there as far as.
No. He actually is the one that came in and paid some on his brothers to make it not as much.
All right, any other discussion or questions? Thanks for that. Ordinance's first reading, ordinance 234566, approved model airplane club lease at the landfill.
So I have a pleasure of working with with this airplane club. This is a 3-year lease, and it expires this September. It's for almost 2 acres of our land. It's actually on an old, I think it's, they used to have a feed stock where they had a building there to feed the cows on the property, but it's concreted. So this airplane club likes to use this particular stretch of land. It is, like I said, it's for 3 years, and it's about almost 2 acres at $200 an acre.
I was reading through that. I think it will renew for so much
Yeah,
longer,
automatically
but
after.
I've spoken to a few of them
Forthman, yeah.
about the surface out there.
Yeah.
I don't know, kind of reading through the lease, they could make that improvement if they wanted to at
They
their
do.
cost.
Right.
But there's nothing in there that states we have to.
Right, exactly.
Or new concrete. Obviously, if we wanted to, that's something that we could do, but just want to make sure that
Yeah, it has some foundation issues. The farmer is right adjacent to him.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Yep.
All right, any other questions? Ordinances, you're welcome. Ordinance 234560, approve annexation request 37423 for approximately 19.59 acres located at 2709 Beltline Road Southwest, first reading June 20th, 23.
Once again, this is the annexation of the pre-zoning we just heard, which is 19.59 acres located at 2709 Beltline Road. The annexation was approved on May 23rd, 2023. We are still waiting on the county to get through with the subdivision before we can do the annexation. We are still gonna keep it on the agenda until further notice, but we still are waiting on the county to get through with their subdivision before we annex it and pre-zone it.
All right, any questions? All right, ordinance 234564, approved request for John Clem, MS Arts, doing business as Johnny Cab, located at 2427 Chadworth Street Southwest, to operate a chauffeur service on the streets of Decatur. First reading, July 17th, 23.
Okay, and this one, again, is a non-metered transportation vehicle. He does reside in the city of Decatur. He does have a CO for home occupation variance from his home to run this business, and he has met all the criteria.
All right, any questions? All right, boards and committees, appoint Barbara Kelly to the Architectural Review Board, term expiring March 19th, 2026. Any questions? And then a mayoral appointment of Jerry Baker to the Housing Authority Board, term expiring August 5th, 2028. Anything else from directors? Chief?
Tracy Thornton, Fire Department. Hey, we have been looking at, Kyle's not here, but talking about the money that was in fiscal '23 for vehicles for the different departments. He allotted us some money, and we have been able to find 2 vehicles. I got it on the agenda. Was wondering if we can get it moved to the August 7th agenda.
Yeah, I talked to him about that earlier, and that's fine. Just get it through the process.
Okay. I got the resolution put in, and we just have to get it moved.
Because you found the vehicles,
Right.
Yeah.
We actually found 2 that was cheaper, but when we tried to get them, they was already sold. So we went for the next cheapest ones they had.
Okay. All right, any questions on that?
Not on that, no, sorry. Not on that, sorry, I've got something else.
Anything else from any of you guys? All right, Mayor.
No, sir.
Mr. Pepper?
Hey, Lori, I've got a question real quick on that 4564, the Johnny Cab. Does he already have a business license of some kind besides this? Is there any other service that he's operating besides this?
He originally came in and got a business license, I think it was back in 2019, for just like a delivery service, which I don't know what he was delivering, but that's not the correct license for chauffeuring people, so.
Is it under
And
the same?
at that time, he might have been delivering something, I'm not sure.
Is it under the same name?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that would make sense. I just thought it was funny. He actually passed by me this morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. And now I looked on the agenda,
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, okay.
yeah, so
all
I don't
right.
know what he's delivering, people or goods, but that one's only good for goods.
Gotta make sure to click those tax dollars.
Dr. Reynolds, I noticed that you came in, and I know you have a lot of hobbies, one of which is sailing. Is there something that you would like to, the council president said, I want to know if you had something that you needed to address the council about regarding sailing?
We did hear from a group at the beginning of the meeting. Yes, sir. And we do have some information that they gave us as well, so. But if you would like to add anything, I don't have any issue with that.
No, they probably already fully covered it.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Sure.
All right, anything else from council? All right, we'll stand adjourned. Thanks.